So today we're going to talk about a very interesting subject, the scale of vibration. You can find this in Dr. David Hawkins' books. The Map of Consciousness is one. There's Power versus Force. But basically, he scaled vibration, which is our emotions. And it scales from 0 to 1,000, as you can see here. And it starts with the lower emotions, shame, fear, guilt. Moves up to pride, anger, neutrality, acceptance, willingness, love, which is the core vibration. And above that is peace, joy, enlightenment. Some of the higher scales is what Jesus reached, and some of the people that we call enlightened reached. So a fun fact about the scale of vibration is if you look at, let's say, courage. When you drink alcohol and they measure you through muscle testing, they find out that you vibrate at the scale of courage, which they call it liquid courage. When you smoke marijuana, you vibrate at the scale of acceptance, about 250. And it's because when you're, high on marijuana, everything's okay and you accept everything. Now, the danger of using substances to reach higher scales is, say you drink, your ceiling will be courage. Say you smoke weed, your ceiling will be acceptance. And you won't be able to truly reach the core vibration, which is the goal. Not everybody is here to be enlightened, but to feel natural and to feel in your core state of love, you have to reach the core level of love, which is 500 on the scale. So I wanted to share that with y'all today before we get into more techniques, more practices. It's a very interesting subject. I really recommend picking up some of Dr. David Hawkins' books, Power versus Force, or The Map of Consciousness Explained. And anybody who is in an AA program or a recovery program, he actually worked with Bill W., the guy who wrote that program. And a lot of the things in Map of Consciousness are in line with the 12 steps. Which, if you don't know what that is, if you're not in recovery, it's basically the steps that people in recovery work through. And what most people don't know about those steps are, it's all about getting to spiritual expansion, spiritual enlightenment, and becoming one with your true self. Because that's why most people use substances, is because they want to escape certain emotions and certain feelings. They relive old traumas. And the cool thing about the steps and this scale of vibration is it shows us a factual way with our logical mind how we can rise above these emotions and get into a better state of consciousness. Because when we're in a better state of consciousness, we experience a better state of life. So if you're at those lower vibrations, and you might be at them subconsciously because it's like things are just keep replaying in your brain and you can't get out of this pattern and this loop. But by practicing meditation, by reading these books and figuring out how this energy scale works, because everything's made of energy. I mean, if they put your body under a microscope, they can see energy moving, particles moving. I don't think that's becoming that much of a debate anymore, that everything's energy. So our emotions are a lot more powerful than we may think. I mean, emotion is energy in motion. So even though you can't see emotions, you can definitely feel them. They're definitely real. They may be ethereal and they may be not in plain sight, but whatever scale you're at, you'll attract those experiences. So if you want to do better in your business, you want to do better in your social relationships, you want to do better in your marriage, if you practice certain meditations that they'll have on this channel and other great channels, then you will experience a better state of consciousness. But I do believe this is important, this scale, and I believe it's one of the first steps in realizing that our emotions are very powerful, and learn how to manipulate your emotions in a good way. So I hope y'all enjoyed this video. We'll have a lot more videos about the scale of vibration. It's one of my favorite subjects. I think it's very interesting, and I really commend Dr. David Hawkins for scaling it out in a way that humans can understand with their logical mind. You know, he's a very interesting guy. I really recommend going to pick up his books. You know, people thought he was enlightened, but the funny thing is that when people are enlightened, they don't believe they are. And he didn't believe he was. He just thought something was speaking and moving through him. And that pretty much is enlightenment. You're open to so much energy that the divine energy, the divine consciousness speaks through you. And that's something I practice with these videos, is I just open myself up to energy coming through me and channel a better message that's bigger than me and better than me, and pretty much just a portal. So take all this information and run with it. That's the whole point of this channel. It's not really just to watch me on a video, and I hope that does spark something, but once you start actually putting in the work and seeing how this can reflect in your life, and I'll share on this channel, this is definitely reflected in my life. I started this journey 7 years ago, and it's crazy to see how much my life has changed, how many opportunities came into my life when I opened myself up to these certain things. And I started to learn how to control my mind and my emotions. But it's a daily practice. I mean, you'll always, I like to say life is like the stock market. I don't know if you invest, but it's like it goes up and down and up and down. And it's the rise and the fall, the continuous transition. You know, we're all going through transitions in our life. I know I am. And I had this epiphany maybe last month that no matter where you're at in life, you're always transitioning. And then when you die, you transition into whatever's after this. I mean, I believe in reincarnation, but it's all a transition. It's all a learning experience. And I think once we can have fun with that learning experience and understand more about how the quantum mechanics work, we'll have more gratitude, we'll have more passion, we'll have more excitement. And when we follow those things in our life, we'll have more purpose, more happiness, and we'll have a better world. You know, if you start doing this, your family will see you doing it, your friends, and they might make fun of you at first, but then they'll start to catch on. I remember 10 years ago when I started, you know, doing yoga and practicing a vegan diet, just reaching out for these different things, then meditation. You know, I was laughed at, and now I see how big it's becoming in the world. So be proud if you start doing these things, that you're forging the path, you're a forerunner, and it's a good thing. So thank y'all, and I'll see you in the next video.